Hello and welcome to episode 28 of the Crushing Through Life podcast with your hosts Rob and Jim. It is July 20th, 2021. And as always, let's start off with today's quote. This quote comes from Mr. Scott Kelly. If we have a goal and a plan and we are willing to take risks and mistakes and work as a team, we can choose to do the hard thing. Scott is an American engineer, retired astronaut, and naval aviator. He's a holder of 17 medals and awards, and he's a veteran of 4 space flights. Kelly commanded the International Space Station, the ISS. In November 2012, Kelly was selected for a year-long mission to the ISS. His year in space began on March 2015 with the launch of the Soyuz spacecraft. He remained on the station for expeditions 43, 44, 45, and 46. The mission ended on March 1st, 2016 with the departure of the Soyuz from the station back to Earth. And it's actually pretty interesting that we learn about this man today.
Yeah, definitely.
As billionaires around the world are racing to space, including Jeffrey Bezos and Richard Branson.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
Yeah, pretty wild, man.
Yeah, good pick for today's quote of all days with the space exploration.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. This guy, obviously Scott Kelly, was, spending that long in space and being such a big part of it.
Can you imagine being like just let alone going up to space is wild in itself, but like spending a year on the ISS, a year.
There's no way I could do it.
So wild. I don't think I could ever do that.
No, I was when you were reading it, I'm going to ask him, how long do you think you could go up there for?
Oh, geez.
A year is a long thing. Remember how so people were freaking out about a year in lockdown in their own homes. People getting claustrophobic here.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's by choice when you're up there, and people like that they're seeking those adventures out, and they're happy to be up there. But that's a long time.
That's a very long time. In fact, I think actually, wasn't there talk, and this may have been from the Amazon world, I don't remember who mentioned it, but there, or maybe it's SpaceX. They wanted to give rides for people who wanted to fly out in space, and it's like you can spend like $250,000 and just go for a trip up to space.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly how much of that is now been blown up into comedy TV shows and writing, because it's been so long that I've been hearing about that it seems like it's just a joke for the super rich, the 1% of the world that have all the wealth. But
there you go.
Yeah, pretty good. I have heard of that before. I mean, obviously it's basically being done with 2 billionaires going up today.
I don't even think I could do it, man. Even if I had the money, even if I had millions of dollars, I don't think I could do it. Dude, I can't even stand on the glass walkway on the CN Tower without my legs starting to wobble. I mean, airplane, no problem. But just yeah.
What's funny about that, my kind of theory is, for me, when I was young, I went to the CN Tower and I was probably 10. My aunt and uncle were in from California, and I went with my grandma. It was a really cool day, actually. And I was too afraid to go on there. And there's kids jumping up and down, and it's the middle of the day in the summertime. And I wouldn't do it. And my grandma, my mom's mom, just shoved me out into the open of it. And once I was out there, I was kind of frozen. And then I looked down, and it really wasn't so bad. And then the second time, I've only ever been twice. Second time I went, it was at night. So it didn't really have the same effect because you couldn't really see. But I guess my theory of it is, the second time when I was up, I was, more mature. I was probably 28 or maybe, I would have been 30 or 31. And I think it's worse for me to stand on the roof of a 4-story building, or being on a balcony up there and looking down than it is, because when you're so high up, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's game over. But three stories, you're probably going to just be in a lot of pain. So it's almost worse. But so I think looking down from space, it wouldn't matter, right? If you get out of there, you're dead. So that wouldn't necessarily bother me. It would be, it would just be kind of trapped for for a year. And like, I wouldn't be able to do it in a submarine. I'd probably rather do it in space, honestly, than in a submarine. Like, at least you can kind of see what's going on.
Yeah,
I don't
for
know.
sure, for sure. I mean it, and you could get lost in that thing, man. The ISS is huge, and there's all these different pods and all that, and your orientation's messed up. But I think for an astronaut and an engineer and a scientist, like it'd be pretty cool to like just spend time up there. But yeah, like that just freaks me out. I get visuals of like trying of like being locked down into a chair or strapped down into a chair, and like your rocket's about to launch off, and the countdown happens, and it's like, is it successful and all that? Just all this, it's mind blowing to me that like people, with all this money are just going up there for the fun of it.
I guess what's kind of cool is if you have it and you can afford it. I mean, it's a once in a lifetime thing. That there's only so many people that could say they've actually gone up into space. So 100%. If you're into it, and you have the money, like what if you have infinite money? What does it matter? I mean, I'm sure you could do a lot of better things, but it's not like these people aren't charitable.
Maybe if I was at a certain age, it's like, I've lived a good life, like, well, why not?
That's true.
Just go up there.
Yeah.
So man, like last week we had a pretty crazy week for some reason. Like my whole family his vibes been kind of off, and usually it's pretty good and pretty positive in our household. And I think it's more so for the fact that we've been kind of stuck inside and the weather's been really, really crappy. It was the first time, and I'm pretty lucky, I would say, as a parent, because I know a lot of parents deal with this, and it's difficult to deal with. But like, it was the very first time that my son complained that he was inside and couldn't go outside. It was like, I'm stuck inside. I want to go outside, but it was during a thunderstorm. It was like the third, fourth day of raining, and he just had like a legit meltdown, freak out, anxiety filled, where like we actually had to stop everything that we were doing. My wife and I were working at home, and basically just talk to him and calm him down. It was really, really bad. It was a pretty big temper tantrum.
Right.
So he
would not survive on the space station there.
He would not survive on the space station.
Yeah. He's got time.
Exactly.
I don't blame him.
But yeah, like I feel for these parents that definitely deal with that on a day-to-day basis with kids that are a little bit older. Specifically like for people that don't have a dedicated workspace, like an office or whatever. They're like working from, a kitchen table or whatever.
Yeah, living room's all you got. Inside.
And he's not at the age where I could just be like, all right, go outside, go play outside, do whatever you like to do.
Right.
We can't.
And you're working.
We can't.
Right?
Yeah, we're working.
If you're going to take him for a walk with an umbrella. It's like,
you
still got stuff to do.
We have a front concrete patio, and like he's 4 years old, so he can go outside and play in that area, but he doesn't want to play in that area, right? He wants to go up, he wants to go to the park, walk around, whatever. And it was just getting to him. So I looked at Terry and my wife and I, we were like, we gotta get him out the next day. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, this particular day was nice. It was the past I'm just trying to remember now. The past 3 or 4 days during this week, it was awful. This particular day where he freaked out, we were both working. We couldn't take him out, obviously, and he just had a meltdown. So it was a very nice day.
Nice. And now
it was finally nice. Yeah, right. Yeah. So I looked at my wife and was like, we got to take him out, but like, I don't want to take him to the park. I want to like do something nice for him. So we actually ended up doing a little beach day. And,
right
we live in the Toronto area, and the beach that we went to was Sunnyside Beach. And it's this really nice beach, but if you ever
like Ontario?
If you're familiar with any Toronto beaches, like there's Woodbine Beach and all that, there's all these little different beaches along the lakeshore. Anyways, this particular one, Sunnyside Beach, is like a little mini, for those who know the Toronto area at all, it's like a little mini Wasaga Beach. It's got a little pavilion with a bar and all that, and a restaurant. You can order food, nice. And it's just right on the beach side. So it's a really nice spot. As long as there's no E. coli in the water.
Wow, it is like Ontario. That's why I asked.
Yeah, there's been some warnings about E. coli in this particular area of the beach, where like half of the beach is like cut off, where you can't swim in. The other half is like you can swim in it.
That's reassuring.
Yeah. Yeah,
Don't go
exactly.
past that line
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. 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 So like after a particular set of like hot, humid temperatures and no
Mm,
rain, it's just like the water. They treat they test the water and it's terrible, right? They
yeah.
can't swim in it. But anyways, we just like we take him out to the sand, we do the sandcastle thing and all that, and he loved it, dude. He had a blast, played music. Wife and I
Awesome.
tossed the frisbee around, and it was so good. Just from um kind of like an unwind standpoint, and it was like it wasn't even a vacation, it wasn't a weekend, it was a weekday, right?
Oh, nice.
It was
Yeah.
a Tuesday right after work, 5 o'clock. We had dinner and just drove right down. It took me 20 minutes. And it was just like we just set up on a beach, dude, and just kind of wound down. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, I can't. This is where I appreciate working from home a lot, because I
Mm,
can't do that during the time where I did work back in the office, because my commute would be like an hour. I get home, then I have to prep dinner and all that, and it's just like, yeah, we're not going to go to the beach after
it's so time
after work.
consuming.
So time consuming, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I agree.
um,
That's good for you. I love doing anything on the week nights because
yeah,
it doesn't just feel like you're living to work,
hmm,
right? Like you're working to live, and you guys, all three of you went out. That's a nice, little quiet night. Um,
yeah,
and the
yeah.
sun, it's not setting so early, so you can still get out there. It's not too late, or even if it is a little bit too late. I mean, obviously the little guy's got to go to bed at some time, but
Yeah,
like
speaking of which, I don't know if you can hear him. He's running around outside my door right now. I'm way past his bedtime.
that's the summer.
Yeah, exactly. We let
Yeah,
him up past his bedtime. Every once in a while, you gotta let
right
him
on.
have it, right?
Yeah, that's really nice though. That's a nice day.
Yeah, man, it was awesome. So I just wanted to note that, like do a beach day, and do a beach day during the day if you can, and if there's an area where you can swim near you. It's just, take advantage of your outside environment. And if you can't do a beach day, or if it's too far away from where you live, try to get outside as much as possible, right? Try to get
Hmm.
to some sort of area where there's water. If there's a piece of land that just has a small pond or a lake or whatever, you can just sit at. You can't particularly swim in, it's not a beach, but just go out there, enjoy some water views. I think that's just such a beautiful moment to just unwind and not think about work and the daily grind.
I love being near water, no matter where it is. A hike around. So I think I've mentioned it before. My mom's come. We've gone to Bayfront Park in Hamilton, or over by McMaster. There's a couple of trails, and you just kind of find the lake, and you just walk all the way around it. I don't know
Yeah,
what it is. It's always just like peaceful to me to watch. Something about the water, maybe. Just very
right,
calming to me. So yeah, I totally hear you on that.
right. And it was kind of funny because I'm sure you recall from the past episode, I've hurt my foot during
Yes,
during
I
Canada Day.
we can't explain it. It happened.
Yeah,
Move on.
it happened. Let's
Yeah,
move on.
yeah.
So during this beach day, we were my wife and I were tossing a frisbee around, and I was hammering it back and forth between each other, and like I was going back and forth on like a downhill. Like she had the higher ground. I was on a downhill on the beach.
She's
Yeah,
Anakin.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Anakin Skywalker in this one.
But it was
Or
so
no,
good
that's
because
Obi-Wan who has the high ground.
yeah, because I felt like I had such a great workout going back and forth and just catching the frisbee and just throwing it back and all that. And I had no pain in my foot. I was like, this is amazing. Like, I don't have any pain in my foot. And before, it hurt a lot.
Mm.
I remember when, I hurt my foot and started working out the a few days after that. And like, I heard it again. I couldn't work out. I'm like, I don't want to like push this too much, man.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna like not work out for a little bit and let it heal.
Yeah, that's the thing,
Oh
right? Like,
god.
so when I hurt my wrist, I didn't do anything for 2 weeks. Like, in terms of anything remotely active with my wrist. And it was all just, going for walks and doing leg workouts, and really like, focusing on core and that kind of thing that you could do. Like, there's so many things that you can do where you don't need to, have your wrist or your ankle. It's, modified, but you can still do it. And actually, speaking of, the doctor called me yesterday to give me back my MRI results.
Oh,
Um, so,
good news, bad news?
I wasn't sure how to take it. I mean, I haven't really given it too much thought. It seems like if it was more serious or there was, something really bad as a possibility, they would have had a little more haste. It would have been a little more rushed. But having said that, I have had every test, MRI included now. So I really wasn't nervous. And then the phone rang and I knew it was them because they always put no name, so you don't call them back, I guess. But I know that like that's the doctor. And this when it was ringing, I was like, oh man, it's possible I could hear something that I'm not ready to hear.
Right.
Just like every bad thought was like 10 times worse right as soon as the phone rang. So anyways, I called Jess up because as I said before, she needs to be there for the adult supervision.
Of course.
To hear this stuff. So she gets out a pen and paper and writes everything down. I just put a guy on speakerphone. But basically he said it's a cyst about 2 centimeters in diameter, I think. Or sorry, in circumference. It's like, not tiny, but so it's just a buildup of fluid. I got to go see a neurologist. And basically, like what he said the next steps are is, they'll get another opinion, but I'm sure this, the expert will see it and just say, we might need to inject something and try and remove the fluid. And then hopefully that works. And if it, doesn't, then surgically they might have to remove it.
Right.
But all things considered, I mean, the guy said it was pretty common. The recovery is, pretty standard, I guess. So, kind of a relief and kind of nice just to have an answer finally. Like, this happened at Christmas. So we're almost 7 months ago now where I'm just now getting, what happened to it. So, and actually it's funny. I the last, like over the weekend, it really started to hurt. Like where it was waking me up because I couldn't find a comfortable place to sleep with it because I was moving or Jess knocks it because she moves around more than I do.
Yeah, I recall you shared in our group like your posting of your Fitbit results and like I commented on, wow, you only had 4 hours of sleep last night, and you mentioned, my wrist hurts.
yeah, it was tough. It was like off and on. I think I actually took the Fitbit off though. Like at one point, I'm like. It's not like I put it on the other wrist, but it was more just, I was kind of just fed up with it, but,
right.
Yeah, not too bad. But those results though, I was pretty proud of those. I went for a round of golf with my buddy yesterday and I did 14 kilometers of walking. So we walked a very tough course. There's hills. I think it said like you climbed 50 stories or something, or 50 stairs, whatever it is.
Amazing.
20,000 steps. Of course, I got instantly one-upped in our workout chat. I posted like, hey guys, it's my personal best on the Fitbit. And our other friend that's in BC right now just posts a 30K step mark. Like, all right, thanks a lot, man. Here's my best day ever. And you just... Same day he beats it. But how long have you been saying?
I knew it was coming. I was hovering over the button.
Right. Well done. Good execution. But the golf was great. I actually, it's a really tough course. I even predicted to a couple of friends, that I would shoot 118 and I shot 102. On the back nine, I shot 45, which is maybe my best back nine ever.
That's
and this
amazing.
Course is very tough. But I don't know. It's just with a friend, we got lucky where there was nobody on the course in front of us. So, you can kind of just get into a rhythm because what happens when you play Saturday, Sundays, I find is like the course gets so backed up that you might have a good hole. And by the time you get back to tee off the next one, you're out of your rhythm. And it like, so, it's I mean, it's just excuses, I guess. But, I really felt like, and we just had an absolute blast. And then we picked up Jess and went for Buffalo Wild Wing and on a patio. Got a couple I had my first pint of Guinness in a long time. It was amazing.
Yeah. I was gonna say
that was so good.
I am craving some wings, man. Some nice patio wings, the pint. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was so we were there's a place around the corner from my house called Boomers. And just the name of it, we've always wanted to go. And then as we on the way back, my friend was like, oh, Buffalo Wild Wing, like we gotta because we both love the boneless wings there, and they like Buffalo Wild Wing has some great flavors, so we ended up going there. Yeah,
nice.
I mean, that was a great great outing. Feel good. Like my legs. I don't
Plus,
know.
if you went to Boomers, you probably would have been denied at the door based on your age.
Yeah, we're not 45 plus. Oh boy. Do I get to control those at some point, or
no? Let's continue.
All right. Yeah, but I mean, great Monday, and that, like I was saying, like it feels so nice to get something done during the week. You know, like tonight's Tuesday, and I've already we'll have recorded an episode, and I went for a 14-kilometer walk already. I mean, I was feeling it today. I don't know. The guy's about to, like, my friend did it again today, and he shot an 84, and then he shot 80 today. So he does it. He's a machine with this stuff. But I guess, people usually take the carts there. But anyways, yeah, it's like, great start to the week for me personally.
That's great, man. That's awesome. Good for you, dude. 14K, that's impressive. Regardless of you being beat, like, that's so pretty awesome.
Yeah,
yeah. For you to top your own personal best, that's pretty crazy. I mean, it's 2 days of walking for me.
Well, and like you said, 10K. Right? It's a personal best. So, just because our other friend beat it, like a lot of the time, if I was trying to compare to people even in our own workout chat, I would be way behind, but I don't view it that way. Mm-hmm. I'm at my own pace and I'm setting my own targets, right? So it's
right.
I think that's an important thing to think of when you're, when you look around it, like if you go to a gym, if when they're open up finally, or and maybe they already are, I think, and you see what other people are doing, like it doesn't matter. Just what matters is your goal, and you're out there to begin with. So
that inspires me a little bit, man, because my foot is healed. I want to start running again, and I miss it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I think I might make it a goal to get back out there myself this month and try to. I hate using the words "try to." It's just like, you got to do it. You got to get out there and get back at it, man. Because I whenever you and this goes back to, like, that crappy weekend I had where, like, I felt crap, and then I got the hives, and then I got the second Moderna shot, and it was just a terrible weekend. I got my foot all gashed, and now it's healed. You miss the days where you feel perfect,
mm-hmm.
and it's like you just can't be lethargic, and just like you need to get back out there and get back into the grind. Like you're all healed up.
You're gonna have days where you're at your lowest, where you're not going to be able to do things, and when you're at your highest, where you just feel like you could do, you could extend and do double the amount of workout that you did.
Mm-hmm.
It's the medium days that I think are going to slow, myself, you, from the sounds of it down, where it's like, you just don't bring it. And those are the ones that you got to change your mindset and be like, I'm getting it done today.
Yeah.
Right. And it doesn't have to be, agree. Like if you're getting into running, you don't need to run 5K. You don't need to run a kilometer. Maybe just run 500 meters and walk 500 meters, and then run 200 meters and walk 200 meters. Like,
mm-hmm.
Like there's no, it's whatever you set it at. It was, it's kind of what I was saying before.
100%.
Yeah.
Even my wife, she was like, because I've fallen off the track a little bit. She's like, you should, get back to where you've been doing these 10K daily goals.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw you're so motivated to get those goals that reach that 10K every day. You try to get back to that a lot more. But I think what I want to do is, I miss running, and I miss going outside. So I want to get back to maybe doing like a 3K run every day, something like that, something easily obtained. Maybe
you could run 3K
maybe mix
every
it
day?
in with run it. What's that?
You could just run 3K straight.
Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah,
I don't like
5K is pushing it. Straight running.
It's been so long since I've just ran. Besides, I don't even play, sports that really require it too much. Like even tennis is stop and go, or, like running the bases in baseball is like sprints. I'm not playing.
Mind you, this is straight. This is like straight plain running. I'm not going up and down hills or anything like that.
Yeah, but even still, like that's pretty impressive. When I was doing in one of our challenges, I'd go out for a run, but I would try and run for 1 kilometer, and then I would walk, and then I would try and run another one. I'm sure I could do it at a very slow pace, but nothing, I don't know, nothing like I used to, for sure. Like I used to do cross country when I was younger.
So it's, if you did cross country when you were younger, something is instilled in your body. Pretty sure you could bring it back, man, for sure.
I feel like
if you went back to it,
kind of what slowed me down in sports was not really learning how to breathe properly, I think. I remember cross country and just
Yeah.
being out of breath, or getting back to the bench from hockey especially, and just being so out of breath, and like not, learning really how to harness the maximum potential, I guess, of my lungs. Be something that, interesting to look back at, kind of after high school, I guess, like had I done more sports, just exactly what I was physically, like my max capabilities of certain sports. Because I'm obviously now, actually, I'm in better shape now than I've been in in a long time, but maybe over the hill, peak physical wise.
So the other day I went full dad mode.
Oh, I saw pictures of this.
I know you did. I went
Yeah, you
full
definitely
dad
went
mode,
full dad. Yeah.
and I rented a rug cleaner from Lowe's. And I looked at my wife before doing so, and I think like something dropped on the floor, and I picked it up. It was probably a remote or something like that. But I got really down close to our we have like a big large wool rug that we've had since 2012. And it's never been cleaned other than vacuumed, obviously, from
Right, like a
2012.
deep clean.
It's been like deodorized with like baking soda and vacuumed and all that, but like not like a deep clean. And I went to bend down, like pick up a remote, something that fell, and I smell the carpet. I'm like, dude, we gotta clean this. It's gross. It's so gross, man. And on top of which, if you rent one, like you can do your bedroom. We had carpets in our bedroom, which suck. I wish we had hardwood floors. We have hardwood floors in our main room, but we have a rug in front of our main room in our couch. So
so everything carpeted.
It's a little bit more cozier. Sorry,
everything carpeted. You cleaned?
Yeah, everything carpeted. I cleaned, and we had like an entranceway rug and all that. It's like full of salt stains from like past winters and all that.
Yeah.
So
how they look?
They look amazing now. Rented it from Lowe's, got the carpet cleaner, paid the ridiculous $25 cost of the Bissell cleaning solution, which was so expensive. I couldn't believe how expensive it was. But anyways, and went to town on these carpets. And after they were done, we walked on the carpets in the bedroom. First of all, like what came out of the things, so gross. Like the dirty water that came out of these carpets, because they were just the OG carpets from like when this place was built, and the vacuum can only do so much. It's like the deep bacteria that comes out of your carpets. It's gross. I recommend anyone who's ever got carpets, rent a rug cleaner. Just like clean your rugs and see what comes out of it. It's more, you can get more out of it than just vacuuming, obviously.
Yeah.
So we ended up cleaning the rug, and the rug was so thick and heavy. I did like 5 or 6 passes on it, but I think I saturated it too much. And it took 2.5, like almost 3 days of it to fully dry. Oh my God, dude. Like I had to get 4 or 5 fans on this thing. And at one point we went out to, we went out somewhere. I can't remember where exactly, but we came back, and we were out all day, and all the windows were closed, and the rug smelled so bad just from being saturated from the cleaner. And it's still like drying, and it's just soaked. And we ended up opening up all the windows, and I ended up lifting the carpet and just trying to get this thing cleaned and all that, or air dried. And now it's fine. It smells great. Now it's all been aired out.
That's great. Yeah. So you would recommend?
I'd recommend, if anyone's interested in cleaning their carpets, go rent a carpet cleaner from Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever, dude. Get it done.
Use promo code Crushing Through Life. You'll get a $0 discount.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh man, that's too much power for you to have, I think.
One day you'll get the producer controls. One day.
Well, that's pretty sweet, though. I mean, like even that in itself is, like when Jess and I clean the house, I always feel like, again, we accomplished something. As lame as that sounds, I didn't think I'd be saying that older in life. But her 2 of her friends came over on Friday night, so we just tied it up a little bit, and I actually vacuumed. And it's just one of those things, it's like it was 7:00, house was looking pristine. I had already vacuumed. It just feels good. I don't know, to know that my house is in good standing here.
Dude, I'm the
Ducks
same way.
In a row.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with you. I love a clean house. I love a clean, organized house. I would
Well,
say I'm the clean one in our relationship.
you and I actually were just talking about this before the podcast started because I fidget, so I can't have things on my desk while we record because I'll just be playing with them, as you have commented in the past. So I literally put them away, but I try to keep my desk relatively clean anyways, like, regardless. But it's funny because so Rob and I last Friday actually went on a Zoom call and we were going through our old year. Actually, we were on and Greg was on as well. But you had your yearbook up and we were just going through it. And it's kind of funny, I guess, because um like yearbooks are one of those things I would never throw away. But in terms of just keeping clutter, like I've moved, I honestly forget how many times, probably 10, 12 times, maybe. I don't know. Maybe 10 times in my life. So I've gotten pretty good at deciding, what's important and what's not important and purging that stuff because I don't need something that is like a keepsake from wherever. Like I even think back, like I bet my dad has my my trophies from when I was a kid, and they're probably more special to him than they are to me now, because like I remember the teams and the people that I met and that kind of thing. But something that says, you did this or whatever, like I have those memories. Maybe you're supposed to trigger them, but the yearbook is something I would never throw away. I had a blast going through that, the old yearbooks with you and Greg, just trying to remember people's names and the stories that come up and that kind of thing. And that stuff I would never purge. But I'm pretty good, because Jess and I, we thought we were going to move. I just went through the house and threw out a bunch of stuff that I had brought here to begin with, like not things that I accumulated here, things that I had brought in. And it's every time I move, I feel, I'm like, do I really need this? No. Like I've heard if you haven't used it or looked at it or thought of it in a year, do you really need it? But I think that's kind of a dumb rule, honestly. There should be no, black and white set of standards for throwing away your memories on this type of thing. Where it's like, oh, that's 1 year. Sorry, that's the rule. You got to get rid of it. There's
Right.
there's people that would do it even more than me. They'd be like, man, your house is cluttered. But what about you? Like, are you good at all with purging and that kind of thing? Or
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, you can see the amount of books that I have behind me. When we first moved to this location, I had a bunch of textbooks from college that were just so old and outdated and all that, and I just got rid of them all. Like these are just they're garbage. They're obsolete now. Like one was repairing Windows Server 2003. Like it's not even worth donating to a library. It's that old, right? Unfortunately, that's the way of with IT books. And I've gone the way of like getting digital books because I hate throwing out books like that. But it was garbage. It just went into recycling, right? But yeah, purging for sure. I'm definitely all about purging as much as possible. But I have a memory box. I have a memory box that I got stuff from like when I was a kid. I have my swimming badges from my swimming lesson in my memory box. And I have report cards. It's just kind of funny to look at your report cards every now and then.
Those were, I wouldn't be keeping on to some of the ones I have. Sorry, mom and dad, but I guess actually I do have one.
Like pictures. I got drumsticks from concerts and picks and concert tickets. Like
concert tickets I've always kept. I kept some movie stubs. The movies that Jess and I have been to in the past and things like that I otherwise I would forget. But it is kind of funny because I do have a report card that I'm not proud of. And looking back at it, I just shake my head at, the lack of effort that I put into it. And now being older and more mature, I like the thing that I do the most, for work. Like I don't have that lack of effort anymore. I do put, both feet forward and strap in and go for it. So, and I'm trying to, put that into other aspects of my life, right? With with workouts and studying poker and learning how to cook and that kind of thing, and stopping complacency. So seeing that is actually a good thing that I didn't keep the glory report cards. Only I kept some of the bad ones too. But I'm surprised I have as many left as I do, because it wouldn't matter to me, what those say at this point.
it's all just a sign of development and growth, man. That's all
Mhm.
it is. I mean, we always look back at, and I thought it was funny because I thought about this the other day too. We always look back at like childhood memories, whether they like some might be cringy or some might be embarrassing and all that. But if you look at it, or you're like, oh, I shouldn't have said that thing back when I was 16, 17 years old. And that memory sticks with you like a long time because it was so impactful
Mhm.
in that moment. And you still think about it when you're 32 years old. But
33 sometimes.
yeah, but like I said, it's just a sign of growth that you know what you did or that attitude that you had before was incorrect, and you don't have that same attitude or outlook now,
Right.
right?
Yeah, this is a learning experience now.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Like there's, and then thank God we didn't have social media back then when we were in elementary school or high school. I mean, it just kind of started at the edge of high school where we started with LiveJournal. Um,
I
you
think we're in
know,
that, like, honestly, the sweet spot where we're at the age where social media is a part of our lives, but it didn't steal our teens like it does now. Like we still got all, like, video games were becoming a thing when, when we, like, I mean, there were a thing, but we got N64 and then we got Xbox and PlayStation. We had life without cell phones and then we had life with cell phones. I feel like we got kind of the best of both worlds as opposed to being born now. Your son, not sure when he'll have a cell phone, but it just becomes earlier and earlier and earlier in life. You have all these things at your fingertips. There's so many more options. It's so easy to get it. The prices went down for a lot of that stuff. I mean, it's still absurd to buy, an Xbox or something, but at the same time, the more people have them, they're more accessible, I guess. But I feel like we got lucky with the, if you were kind of maybe like an 85, like 1985 to a 1992, 93, like that's maybe even 94, like that's kind of the sweet spot of how old, where I think you kind of got the best of a pre internet dominated life. And then you still get to enjoy it now as hit your late 20s and early 30s.
yeah, yeah, I would agree. I would
I
agree
thought
for
for sure
sure.
you were going to do the applause one there. I like the way that the way I just kept going. I thought for sure he's going to do the, oh yeah.
No, settle.
Okay, yeah, thanks. I appreciate it.
I can't overdo it.
Yeah, that's true.
No, it's a very good point, man, for sure, for sure. Um, the other thing I wanted to talk about was we had a great day on the boat with the fam jam. My wonderful aunt and uncle, they invited us out for a boat ride. Up in their, they have a covered marina. They have a boat in a covered marina, like a slip.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And they took us out for a boat ride. They invited us out on this Sunday night last weekend,
Very nice.
and we had a great time, man. Great time on the lake. They took us out to a little beach area, and we've done this before with them, so it's always a blast when they do invite us out to go
So
for a little boat ride.
last summer, I remember you saying that you did paddle boarding
That's right.
and
Yeah.
so same family that
Same, yeah.
okay, right.
Same family and all that.
What lake
I
are
don't
they
know.
on?
I don't know if they want me to mention their names. That's
That's,
not.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
just family is fine.
Yeah, just family. But yeah, like I took them out, or they took us out to this little beach area, and it was so fun, so much fun, and they blew up the paddleboard for me too, and
Oh, right on.
ended up taking that out a little bit. But man, the waves were so rocky. I
What
got
what lake
rocked.
is it?
Lake Simcoe. Lake Simcoe.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. But it was kind of a choppy,
Mm.
windy day, and the paddleboard is so much harder when it's just not still water. It's just
Yeah, for
I
sure.
I ended up like losing my balance like the second time. I just like bailed off the side. My sunglasses flew off, hat
And
flew off.
there's Robbie D as we know him.
Of course, everyone cheered me on from the boat as I just ate it,
Naturally. Good.
And luckily I caught my glasses too, because if they sank in the water, those would have done like my Ray-Bans glasses. I'm like, no,
See,
lose those.
this is the argument that Terry tells you of, like, why don't you put the cap on your water bottle?
I know. My uncle actually gave me a little like strap
I thought you were
to
going to
tie
say
around my neck.
like kitty sunglasses. When you're older, Rob, we'll give you a real pair.
Yeah, Terry just gives me my son's sunglasses.
Like, if you lose these, we'll buy another pair at Shoppers Drug
there you go.
That's cool then that he had like a backup
Yeah,
like
for
strap
sure.
or whatever, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome though. That sounds like, and how was the weather? Like, besides windy, it was sunny on Sunday. I remember.
Sunny weather. It was actually kind of hazy hot. There was no wind when we first got out to the beach area, but the wind started picking up in the afternoon. But it was great, man. They put up the canopy on the boat and they gave us like a little lunch. They had like they brought pizza and chips and
oh yeah, that's a day.
Oh, it was awesome. Ice espresso it was perfect, man. I couldn't ask for a better day, and it's great, man. It was always great. It's always a fun time spending time with them and just talking about life and family and all that. I feel like it's kind of more personal now as a parent, or even when you get older, because my aunt watched me raised me since I was born, essentially,
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like when you're a parent, you can talk about more personal things that affect you and parenting and all that. So you feel like I guess you feel like what I'm trying to say is you feel like a closer connection versus when you were a kid, right?
I 100% agree.
Nice.
Like when we were at the cottage, we have to take the boat over to the island, and my aunt and uncle were there, and I feel like they really know me now. It's not,
Mm-hmm.
they still ask the usual questions, but it's, you're right. Like you can have a deeper conversation and have it not be so intrusive. I'm not a high school kid or before that, with my guard up. Like, why do you want to know, what I'm, they genuinely,
like, school, fine.
Yeah, great. I went there. I
right.
Yeah,
right.
But that's it, you're right. Like being at this age now is really cool. But what I did want to say also is, even just the trip to the island and back, like just being on the boat out in the water it's just awesome. There's something about it where I could just puts a smile on my face to be out on the water like that. So
yeah, for sure. And like even just talking about being this age, it's funny because I do think about it too sometimes where, even on this podcast, we talk about things that are a little bit more personal.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't even talk about them when I was like, in my early 20s or my mid 20s, or I'd be like too nervous to be speaking in public and all that. But now it's just like, who cares? You just do what you want to do and whatever you want to do that makes you happy in life.
It's a growth you were talking about from before, right? Like 100%. You see yourself back then. I mean, you don't need to actually be funny to see a report card now with things more valuable of like, like self-esteem. If like, did it go up, confidence or, like how I was so shy in high school and I'm not the I mean, I'm still shy. I'm a shy person by nature, but definitely more confident to be myself and, not be afraid to meet new people or things like that. So it's pretty cool. You're right to see the, the growth and where we've come from.
That's it, man. Growth, maturity, happiness, life moves on, dude. And that's what it's all about.
Got that right.
All right, man. This has been episode 28 of the Crushing Through Life podcast. And if you could check us out on linktree.com/crushing through life, you can follow us on all of our socials. Head over to our YouTube page and subscribe to us. That would be great. Have a great day, everybody.